Welcome to Linda's TV show. If it is your first time of stopping by or coming across my YouTube channel, you are highly welcome. Please, I beg you for this favor, click on that red button that says subscribe. Beside the red button is a notification bell. Turn the bell on so that anytime I upload a new video, you will be the first person to check it out. I appreciate each and every one of you who always come back to watch my videos. Like you know, I present news on daily basis to you. So after watching the video, you are free to criticize and leave your comment constructively. Share the video. Yeah, you can share it to your family, friends, anybody that you can, so that they themselves will be informed. Now I present to you another interesting or informative video which we are going to watch together. Yeah, I'm going to watch this video together with you. Then we'll come to the comment section.
And this time my spirit has moved me to speak on the issue. I have to speak because when people have spoken and all the points are not properly covered, or I find that there are things that needed to be spoken about that aren't spoken about, then I'm mandated to speak, not only as a human being with free and independent thought process, but also as an advocate for humanity. Because we all have a duty. We have got contributions. We have got unique contributions to make. Otherwise, there is no essence for our existence. Now, I wanted people to, first of all, appreciate something very, very, very important. It will be evil, it will be terrible, it will be unhuman, it will be inhumane, it will be unjust, it will be criminal for the queen who stood on that throne for 70 years to die, and one would expect everybody to be either celebrating or mourning. It will be criminal, it will be evil, actually, not to have variations of feelings and variations of emotions. Without that, then, if we don't have variations of emotions and variations of feelings, then there is no need of being human. We would as well really accept, like many of our deluded fellows on earth, we would have just accepted that mortal beings are animals. But being that we are human, it is only natural that somebody who, in the position of Queen of England, spent 70 years on the throne and supervised as many evils, or even more evils than as there were goods, will just pass away, and it will not ignite many and different variations of emotion. It will be criminal. Now, I want to make it obvious that the utterances, the particular statement made by Professor Anya, would not be my preferred statement and would not be many people's preferred statement. But who are we? Have we lived in her shoes? Do we know her intentions? Do we understand what may have propelled what she said? I happen to have been born in Biafra. So, in some ways, I can relate to what she, or what may have propelled her to use her particular statement. However, I know as an individual, especially as an advocate for humanity, I may not have chosen those words, but who are we? Who am I to claim her specific experience, her unique experience in that whole episode? Who am I? And am I God to know her particular intentions. Because let me tell you something. The God we talk about, the real creator of everything, the owner of the world, the owner of humanity, the owner of everything created, even before mankind introduced science, judge us based on our intentions. Who is to say what her intentions were? Perhaps if she had described her experiences, people would have just taken it as one of those descriptions of experiences that people already knew about. Who knows if she decided to use stronger words that would make people really ask questions and make people really want to understand more, because many people are in the dark. I keep saying to people, look, until you think about losing your mother, even through natural death, let alone a preventable death, let alone seeing people kill your mother, kill your siblings, because they are in pursuit of things they don't own, things they will never own, things they never brought into this world, things they will never take out of this world. You will not perhaps begin to relate to the pains of people like Professor Anya and Biafrans particularly. You will never relate to it. So, Jeff Bezos, or whatever he calls himself, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, and I'm not one that is driven by what people think they are or what people believe they have accomplished. I'm not driven by all those. What matters to me is how people relate to humanity, which is the primary subject matter. And if you don't get that, then whatever else you think you are, it's a waste of time, as far as I'm concerned. So, somebody like Jeff Bezos missed the opportunity to say, why are you talking this way? Why would you say this type of thing about the Queen? Instead of that, he went into condemnation because he was dealing with something that he couldn't relate to. He doesn't understand. He didn't care to take time to understand. Now, the truth is this, and we need to capture the truth. Like I said earlier, it will be inhuman, it will be unhuman, it will be inhumane, it will be evil, it will be unjust, it will be ridiculous for somebody who occupied that throne for 70 years to die. And you expect everybody either to be mourning or everybody either to be celebrating. Nobody should celebrate death, that is for sure. Nobody should be grateful that somebody died. However, people would express their opinions based on the particular shoes they are wearing. The job we have as members of this human endeavor is to query why people are taking the positions they are taking. Because I've always said that opinions not shared are more futile to humanity. Opinions that are either suppressed or opinions that are withheld are more futile to humanity. Opinions expressed might look threatening, might look dangerous, but they are less harmful because they can be discussed, they can be moderated, they are almost something that is asking for more information. So when opinions are voiced out, they are easier to deal with. So let us now get down to business and understand some of the things that we need to understand. And the reasons why we must highlight the issues relating to the Queen, the establishment she represented, and the evils of colonialism, and the evils that are currently going on under that banner, because I've warned humanity that we must ensure that in looking at the past, we do not miss the present. Because what you think you're complaining about the past is still happening. They're still at it. You can't fixate yourself on the past and lose the present, which is more dangerous. So, the reason why we must try to tease out things here is not just because we want to condemn the past, but we want to arrest the present and we want to create a better future. That is the reason, and that's why it is essential to dissect what the Queen represented. Whether she was forced to keep quiet, whether she chose to keep quiet, whether it is a combination of the two, humanity must speak, and speak louder, louder. It doesn't matter how horrible it might sound or how wonderful it might sound, humanity ought to speak now. Because, you see, we're talking about people's souls. We're talking about people's consciences. We're talking about our transient existence. We're talking about the future as well, because as we are living, other people are occupying. We're only here temporarily. So we are always seeking to do the best we can so that we can live a better future for those coming in. And of course, from all the summaries I have given, from all the analysis I've given in the past, it is obvious that our work here on earth are in two folds. One is to correct the obvious mistakes of those before us. To correct their obvious mistakes. That's our parents and our ancestors, whoever they are. Our job, the first role of our job, the first assignment is to correct their obvious mistakes. The second job is for us to make better. That means add value. Okay? Make better. Whatever we perceive as the best things on earth, because those best things on earth are delivered by limited human beings. And I have done enough analysis to prove to you that nothing on earth deposited by man, no matter how wonderful it is, could be deemed perfect, let alone without rooms for improvement. So long as you are a mortal human being, so long as you came out of a woman's womb, so long as your starting point was a total emptiness, so long as everything you have on earth is acquired, including the language you speak, you are limited. That means you have no originality to anything. It doesn't matter what that thing is. Okay? Because your starting point is total emptiness. So you have no originality to anything whatsoever. Because you have no originality to anything else, or anything else, anything ever, everything you have is acquired. And whatever you make out of the things you acquired, okay, you cannot make those things perfect. No matter how brilliant they are, there will always be room for improvement. So, our two assignments, you and me that are currently inhabiting this earth right now, the two assignments we have, and if that is not what we're doing, we're just wasting our time. We're just being silly. We're just pretending to be doing something. Those two assignments are, one, to right the obvious wrongs. The obvious wrongs of people before us. Our parents, our ancestors, and every other thing. It doesn't matter who brought them. To right those wrongs that are obvious. The second part of our job on this earth is to make sure that no matter how brilliant something looks, that we look to add value to it. We look to improve it. We look to improve on it because there are rooms for improvement in everything. Now, if you're not doing two of these things, if you're not doing these two, or one of these two, then sorry, you're simply wasting time. You're simply living somebody else's life. You're simply not contributing anything. Because your unique gift in this life should enable you to right the wrongs of, to right some of the wrongs of the past that you've identified. And also to add value to what is already good. So I needed you to know that. So on that premise, the life of the Queen of England, who supervised so much evil on earth, must be under serious scrutiny. Serious. Not to do so is to fail yourself. Not to do so is to fail humanity. Not to do so is actually showing that you are one of those that obviously is not contributing anything to humanity. That is what it is. So, first of all, I want to applaud Professor Anya for the courage to speak the way she did. Even though I wouldn't have chosen her words, because that wouldn't be me as an individual. Yeah? And as far as I'm concerned, who am I to judge her? Even though that wouldn't be my preferred words. Secondly, I'm not God who knows her intention, because it could well be that she felt that just highlighting the evils that took place wouldn't mean much to people, wouldn't generate the sort of the eyebrows that were raised. It could well be that she knew that if she began to recount that over at least 3 million Biafrans were slaughtered by the encouragement, by the support, by the financing, by the everything about the British. The British, Harold Wilson made it clear that he had a mission to make sure that Biafrans are dealt with and stopped. Because as far as he was concerned, he doesn't know what Biafrans would do with their God-given natural resources. So they went ahead under the supervision of the monarchy and starved millions of children to death and armed Nigeria. They even gave their mercenaries to fly their aircrafts and committed the second genocide known to mankind on earth. We can't, nobody, no sane human being would sleep over that or think that it is something that should be swept under the carpet. The death of the Queen reignites all those wounds. And if they are not reignited, then you're not human. So it could well be that she may have felt, and I'm not in her conscience, but this is just me reflecting, because I have a job to reflect. Because I know I couldn't use her words. So I had to reflect and say, what could have led her to say this? Could it be that she may have looked at everything and said, well, there's nothing I will say that people haven't heard before, and they've kept sweeping this thing under the carpet. Perhaps I need to use words that will ignite people's emotion to begin to know why I need to say this. Who knows? Now, if that is her intentions, I can assure you, the God I serve might not be as critical as somebody like Jeff Bezos or whatever he is called. I don't know how you pronounce his name. You see, I'm not too keen about those who think they are in charge of the world because they've made some money. Because some of the people who say they made some money don't even know what brought about money. Some of them, if you ask them how did money come about, they may not actually know that money is a byproduct of trees, cotton, linen, etc. They may not know that, and they may not know that trees, cotton, linens have nothing to do with human beings. We never brought any cut trees into the world. We don't own the cottons. We don't own the linens. And some of these people that you think they tell you, oh, we are big tech owners, we're this, we are experts, we're this and that. When you sit down and really interview them or talk to them, you begin to see how shallow they are, and you begin to feel sorry for their souls because they are lost. They even struggle to know that money in itself has no meaning, that the name money was assigned by human beings, that's mortal beings. We gave money the name it answers. We gave money the meaning it has. We also gave money the values it has, and we can decide to devalue money and it will have no meaning. Some of the people who tell you they own the world, they are opinion leaders, they are diplomats, they are this and that. When you bring them closer and begin to actually discuss with them, you start feeling sorry for humanity, and you begin to actually understand why we are in the mess we are today. So somebody like that, is it Jeff Bezos, who is the owner of Amazon or whatever he owns, had the opportunity to, if he was reflective enough to say, why would you say this? Please, can I understand why you would say this? But he went into condemnation immediately. Because as far as he was concerned, he wanted Professor Anya, that he knew nothing about, he doesn't know her background, to begin to see the death or the suffering or the dying of the Queen from his perspective. These are the people who might think or who believe that we should homogenize human beings, that human beings ought to be controlled, and human beings should all think alike, if you know what I mean. The people who subscribed to the wild concept that human beings are animals, even though we are the ones that work in partnership with nature to reproduce what animals feed on. People like Jeff Bezos may not actually understand these things. You see what I mean? So it's easier for him to now go into attack instead of trying to work out what could have propelled this lady's view and why she's saying this. Like I said, I wouldn't choose those words, but I'm not in her shoes. I might feel even more angry than she is, but I'm not in her shoes, and I'm not sure of her intentions for choosing those words. Because of that, I wouldn't condemn her, okay? I would condemn what she said because I know I wouldn't say it, but I would rather want to know what was behind that. Now, if Jeff Bezos was clever enough, that's what he ought to be doing. But he wouldn't do that because he thinks he's Jeff Bezos. I don't even know who he is. I don't know him. It's just because of all the things that are going on, I began to, sort of research and try to work out who he is. For me, these things don't. I like people who understand humanity. I like people who understand the true identity of humanity. People who understand the true meaning of humanity, true people who understand the purpose of mortal beings on this earth. I get to know those people more than knowing who owns what. I know this guy, the owner of Facebook, because I use Facebook, and I think I've listened to him a few times, and I got a bit pissed off when he said things in relation to owning the future, and I I wasn't too disappointed because somehow, I hope I'm not being biased, but somehow I seem to appreciate the sort of things that propel these individuals. When he spoke about something like owning those that own the future, I got to know that the guy needed some advice, and of course, for his sake, that is Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, that's his name. Mark Zuckerberg, the owner, I hear, of Facebook. And I had to remind him that he might be self-acclaimed owner of Facebook, but if he examined himself very well, he would know that he couldn't have had Facebook by himself. And if not for other people's contributions, he wouldn't have on his own. He may have had the idea, but ideas alone don't do it. In humanity, it takes 2 plus. You must have 2 plus. Everything starts from 2. The one is null and void. So if he reflects, he would know that it took others' contributions for Facebook to come. And also, the most important thing I wanted him to understand from his statement is that I've researched humanity very, very well. I've researched it very well to know that no one is guaranteed tomorrow. Now, if you're not guaranteed tomorrow, then it is recklessly stupid. It is grandiosely careless, grandiosely stupid to begin to lay claims of the future. It doesn't matter what he might mean, or what he may, whether he means so well, he will die and his children will take over, or this and that. All those are nonsense. Nobody should lay claims of the future when no one is guaranteed tomorrow. It's just as simple as that. Because if we understand it that way, then it means that we are in tune with being human, with being mortal beings. We are in tune. We are not suggesting to be gods. We're not claiming to be what we are not. And once you don't come from that angle, then you've lost me. Then I know that you really need education. It doesn't matter whether you're a professor. It means you need education. And I'm serious about it. Anyway, so going back to the issue of Professor Anya in relation to the death of the Queen, one of the things that I got too disturbed about is, and I did, in fact, I remember I sent a post out when the Queen died. And even though for me, all I say is, thy will be done, O Lord, because it's not for me to decide for God what God does. Okay? I did warn that the most surprising element will be those Africans who will begin to cry more than the bereaved. And lo and behold, I learned and I found that the Kenyan government declared 4 days mourning for the death of the Queen. And I just couldn't stop laughing. That really cracked me up, I must say. And I want to use this medium to send a message to Kenya, because I think Kenya is a country with lovely people. But it seems to me that Kenya have been unfortunate with their government lately, that their government have become a rogue government, a terrible reflection on the good people of Kenya. Two things now stand out for me, because Kenya was a country, or is a country, that lent a hand in the kidnap and what happened to Nnamdi Kanu. Kenya played a woeful role. Kenya government, because it's important we separate Kenya people from its government. Just like it is important we separate British government, the establishment modalities, with British people, because there are British people, the man on the street, the men and women on the street, you find good, conscientious human beings. So when we say British, we're talking about the British establishment and their evils on humanity, which many British citizens obviously disagree with. And people need to understand this. In the same way, Kenya have wonderful, wonderful human beings, but their government have been woeful. So two things just stood out for me. The role they played in relation to Nnamdi Kanu, and now declaring 4 days of mourning for the Queen, the monarchy that supervised all the evils that took place in Kenya. I don't know whether people have heard about the Mormons and what the British establishment did to the Mormons. The stealing, the killings, to declare 4 days of mourning.
Thank you so much, my wonderful viewers, for watching this video together with me from the beginning to the end. Like I said before, if you like what you see here, if you like what I do in this platform, as you have finished watching this video, please hit that red button that says subscribe and put on your notification bell to all notifications. In that way, you'll be able to know when I upload a new video. Share my videos, leave your comments in the comment section constructively. Until I meet your way again in my next video, I still remain your Linda's TV show. Bye-bye.